from ABC News, Bill Nye says record-breaking extreme heat, a taste of the normal of the future. So here we are once again, the climate zealots, scaremongering summer, and Bill Nye has been completely compromised, captured. I thought he used to run a show for kids, but now we're supposed to be taking him seriously. Same thing with Neil deGrasse Tyson, right? These guys in the past, I guess, were credible science talkers, but they're not anymore, to say the least. My name's Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm absolutely begging you.
I'm begging you, please. Come on, please.
It would help me a lot, and it would cost you nothing. But if you wanted to help me even more and spend some money, you would buy my book, New York City 2020, Gotham Unglued, on Amazon.com. That link will be in the description.
Life-threatening heat across the country. More than 127 million Americans are on alert.
And it's just the beginning of what will be a sweltering stretch.
Even right now, while we're standing in the shade, it's hard to find somewhere comfortable to get away from all of the heat.
Yeah, Scott, it is a scorcher.
Okay, so this is the intro of how scary the sun monster is. So and maybe they'll tell us, but what are you supposed to do about it? You're going to go live on Mars? You're going to go live on the moon? You're going to stop driving your car? You're going to stop having kids? You're going to stop eating meat? Is that what they want you to do?
Once again, I-95 bakes today. We're talking 4 hours.
And look, for the record, this isn't really much different from Rona, right? Just control people with fear. And this, I have said, is even a bit more sinister than the Transformer agenda, because that has clear repercussions. There is truths, there is reality, and if you show somebody that, they may or may not buy it, but there's no way around the truth. This, on the other hand, they can just move the goalposts as many times as they want.
Out of 4 on the scale that we use to measure extreme heat.
Some of the coverage across the country of the scorching summer heat hitting the nation. For more on what's...
And she said the key word, summer. It is summer. Yes, it's hot.
Driving the extreme weather and whether the new normal is with us now. I'm joined by science educator Bill Nye. Good morning, Bill. It's so great to have you with us this morning. There are very few people watching us this morning who aren't experiencing sweltering heat. The same is happening around the world.
Yeah, this is the guy. Okay, look, both of these people, speaking of heat, they both look like they're melting.
Flooding, wildfires. Give us your read on that. Is this the new normal?
It's the beginning of the new normal, with respect.
It's the beginning of the new normal, which is a phrase popularized by Rona. I mean, they're using so many things from the Rona era to further push communism, right? Same thing in New York. Oh, the kids are learning remotely because we have to house the migrants, which of course that never would have happened without Rona. So that was a stepping stone for them.
The latest research is that there's not a turning point or a tipping point or a knee in the curve. It's just going to get hotter and hotter and worse and more and more extreme. So this is a taste of the normal of the future, unless we, humankind, get to work and address it.
And let's talk about that. Our Ginger Z talks about climate change a lot, global warming.
Oh, Ginger Z, right? We know her. She's the chief climate scientist at ABC, and her whole job is to just make sure that people are really scared and then, of course, sell a movie. Same thing out in Florida. There's some weirdo meteorologist guy who is who is a friend of Joy Reid. He says, oh, Ron DeSantis is not doing what we want as far as climate change is concerned.
Thursday, we reported on NBC6 News that the government of Florida was beginning to roll back really important climate change legislation and really important climate change language, in spite of the fact that the state of Florida over the last couple of years has seen record heat, record flooding, record rain, record insurance rates, and the corals are dying all around the state. The entire world is looking to Florida to lead in climate change, and our government is saying that climate change is no longer the priority it once was. Please keep in mind, the most powerful climate change solution is the one you already have in the palm of your hands, the right to vote. And we will never tell you who to vote for, but we will tell you this. We implore you to please do your research and know that there are candidates that believe in climate change and that there are solutions, and there are candidates that don't.
And even if this were true, right, if all of this were true, you do not have a plan to fix it, all right, shutting down everybody's life. But more importantly, you're just not that important. The world keeps on spinning.
What do we need to do right now, in your view?
Well, there's two things, everybody. I say this all the time. The first thing is talk about climate change. If we were talking with our families and friends and people we vote for about climate.
There we go. Once again, talk about it. You guys have done nothing but talk about it. I mean, nonstop for years now, decades, and you keep moving the goalposts. So check. We've already done that. But more importantly, he also says, all the people we vote for, which is another, I mean, telltale sign. I mean, it's completely obvious at this point, but they want to pretend like it's not political. Well, we need to, talk about the people we vote for because they're going to spend more of our money to appease the sun monster, I guess.
Climate change, we'd be much more inclined to do something about it. And then the other thing that I always say is vote. So we have a situation right now here in the United States where one side
vote because the Democratic politicians are going to, of course, spend more of your money, but they actually care about the earth. They care about the world, right? So if you vote for a Republican, he wants the world to end.
One political party isn't acknowledging the problem, let alone coming up with a plan to do something about it. Furthermore,
and another thing is, if we want to talk about like the breakdown of voting, and a lot of people say, well, 50% of the country, and I just don't think that's true, right? I don't think it's split 50-50. I think you have some far left blue strongholds, and even they're kind of snapping out of it. But take the large majority of people in the middle of the country, which I think is more than half. I don't know. I'm no meteorologist or doctor or lawyer, science talker or whatever, but I just don't believe that half of the country is buying into this climate extremism. But he wants you to know that you need to vote because, one party doesn't believe in it.
The other side is kowtowing, is doing what the fossil fuel industry wants to do. And as Upton Sinclair said, it's hard for a man.
Bro, you're quite literally just a political propagandist.
To change his mind when his income depends on not changing his mind. So everybody, we have a situation now where El Nino is giving way to La Nina, where there's a cooling in the Pacific Ocean, which strangely...
Oh, is there going to be rain bombs? Is there going to be rain bombs and atmospheric rivers?
What we didn't anticipate is these rain bombs in December, January, February, and March. These atmospheric rivers.
Is that what we're scared of?
Enough leads to more hurricanes because there's less vertical shear, as we say, in the Atlantic. And furthermore, the Atlantic is especially warm. Now, all this heat that we've trapped in the atmosphere has worked its way into the ocean. So we have a situation where we're going to have this extreme heat and these crazy heat domes, these high-pressure systems that don't move.
Heat domes, rain bombs, atmospheric rivers. This is all just absolute gobbledygook, but I guess since he was credible in the 80s or 90s, that you should still take him seriously now, even though, I mean, without being completely mean and rude and nasty, bro, you're not going to see it, right? If half of what you're saying is true, then maybe you will see the end of the world because you got another 10 years in you, but I doubt it. You're completely melting, bro, and this is what happens when the corrupt Democrat cash cow gets to you.
Move, and there are no clouds to reflect sunlight into space. They just get hotter and hotter. And then we're having these extreme weather events, big rain and wind coming in from the southeast to North America. So this is everything going.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. For the record, right? If it floods, it's climate change. If there's a drought, it's climate change. If there's a tornado, if there's a hurricane, if there's an eclipse, it doesn't matter what. I mean, if you can't locate $24 billion, that's also climate change.
Interestingly, I mean, has been at the White House recently, had an impact in terms of the IRS collections as well with their estimates, because there were other states that had similar delays in their taxes related to weather events. If there was any indication that climate change has impacts well beyond those that are often promoted. I would consider our financial delays as just another example of
going the wrong way at once.
So
what we have to do, everybody, is stop putting carbon dioxide and methane in the atmosphere.
If you meet with people who don't believe in climate change, don't believe in global warming, and there are a lot of them, what do you say to them? What do you say to them to convince them?
Yeah, we at ABC, we know that there's some people that aren't quite buying all of our nonsense. How do you get them on board?
So if I could convince people in one sitting, that would be fabulous, but that has proven quite difficult. I tell everybody it takes years where people see the evidence, and the problem we have in climate change is we don't have a 9/11 or a Pearl Harbor. It's slow motion. So
exactly. Right? He's going to make that seem scary, but that's exactly what I said, is that there is no concrete evidence of this. You can just go on for years and years and continue to move the goalposts, which you cannot do with the Transformer agenda.
Everybody that I speak with acknowledges that the climate is changing. Just the nudge that we work on, people on my side of this, is pointing out that humans are causing it. And we're doing it because we've created this wonderful quality of life for so many people by burning ancient carbon, ancient swamps, coal, oil, gas. We just got to stop doing that. And so there are many alternative sources of energy, but we have to work together to share it. And I'm talking about transmission lines and energy storage, as well as developing more efficient renewable sources at the same time. Better solar panels, better wind turbines, and this mythic thing that people are talking about is fusion, but it's decades away, but nevertheless it's in the future.
I want to ask you, we have about 20 seconds left here, but some advocates are pushing for President Biden to declare a national climate emergency. Is that something that he should do in your view?
Yeah, what would that consist of? Right? Higher taxes?
Well, I don't know how efficacious, I don't know how well that would work.
And do we think that, the criminal illegals or the thugs in Oakland or San Francisco or New York City, do you think they care about climate change at all? Or are they going to keep spinning donuts, doing sideshows, and stealing stuff?
People who are already inclined to dismiss what he says will just be that much more dismissive, perhaps. What we want to do is get everybody to work together, to acknowledge that we have this problem. And as I say, I strongly believe that the United States has to lead the world.
Okay, and we're going to have to leave it right there.
Everybody working together.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. So if he acknowledges that the climate's always changing, whatever, sure. I mean, what are you going to do, right? Like, you win some, you lose some. You're just going to stop your life completely. But more importantly, if it's always been changing, and you're pretending that you know how to, turn back the hands of time and make the environment come back, what about the era before you were alive, before your grandparents, before your ancestors were alive? If humans have been on Earth for however long, and you have no recollection, no recording of what was going on before that, how can you even say that it wasn't hotter 1,000 years ago?